Everyone else is taking on their own role of something right now, right? We're balancing each other out. So the law of bubbles is essentially anything that we are denying in ourselves, someone else has to take on. It's why families who are like, alcohol is bad, drugs are bad, bad, always have an addict. There's always an addict in those families. It's because that person has to take on everything everyone else is denying about them, and that person has to take it on to balance out their universe. It's why we have mass shootings. If every person in the world could admit that I'm a murderer, because I am. I've killed bugs before. I've eaten meat. Has anyone ever told you, oh my God, you're killing me? Like my mom's like, oh my God, Allie, you kill me. There's a part of me that probably is actually literally killing her, right? By just being me. And if we can admit that in ourselves, because what people do is they go, I would never kill anybody. I can't believe someone would do that. Well, now if we're denying that part of us, because we are all everything, we have all the attributes, we are all everything. And so if there's a part of us denying that, someone somewhere has to think how many people are denying that they're a murderer, right? Because we're not saying that we're not admitting we're murdering bugs, or we're murdering or we're eating animals, or we are literally I'm probably killing someone mentally right now because they're so fucking triggered by me. You know what I mean? Like there's probably someone in the world who is so triggered by me and so angry at me that they could manifest cancer later because of how angry they are at me, right? If we don't admit that and own that, now someone else in the world, like these mass shootings that go on, someone else has to carry it all. And then they have to kill a bunch of people. But if every single person in the world would just own, yeah, there's a part of me that's a murderer. Because also if someone came into my house and was about to shoot Justin, or if I had a kid who was about to shoot my kid, I'd shoot them. Who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't? If someone's about to literally kill someone you love, and you had the means to, you would take their life before they could take yours. If they're coming into your house, they're breaking into your house, they're holding you hostage, you know what I mean? But we don't admit that. And so we say, I would never do that. But we would. And we have. And, other ways. And so if everyone would admit that, then there would be no shootings, because no one would have to take that energy on of everyone else denying that, right? So now that's a big scale. How you can use this in your life, which is really fun. If I feel like, let's see, like if someone comes to me and they're like, my boyfriend isn't planning enough. He's not doing enough. He's not like taking action enough. Like I have to be the one to always be taking action and always doing these things. I go, okay, well, I explain the law of bubbles, and I go, okay, so you have about 80% of the bubbles of the doing. He only has 20 out of 100, right? 100 being the full thing. You've got 80 of them. Your universe has to be balanced out. If you have 80, he can literally, scientifically, metaphysically only have 20. So what do you have to do? You've got to give your boyfriend some of the bubbles. You've got to give him some of the marbles, right? So you've got to go, here, sir, take 50 of mine, right? If you want to be doing way less or taking way less action or planning way less or whatever it is. And how we do that is we just stop doing it. We just stop taking action on it, right? How we also do that is we get ourselves emotionally not taking action on it either. Because we can stop taking physical action, but if we're going, oh my God, he didn't do this yet, again, we got to plan this, we got to plan that, that's also, your creator field still absorbs that. So we got to rewire our thoughts and belief systems around why we're the one, doing all that. Then once we do that, it's going to be easier to stop doing it. And then we give our boyfriend, girl, whoever it is, I'm just using this as an example, this could be anyone, we give them the marbles and then they can start doing it. So this is how you can use this universal law to start to literally hack the system. So what I was doing in my business was I was doing fucking everything. I was doing, before Sarah got here, before my new team got here, I was doing fucking, I was like, fuck, I was the marketer, I was the COO, I was the CEO, I was the this, I was the that, I was the other thing. And finally I was like, fuck man, I gotta give some of my fucking bubbles. So we hired Sarah. Sarah took a lot of my bubbles. We hired Summer. Summer took a lot of my bubbles. We hired Candy. Candy took a lot of my bubbles. We hired is that it? That's all we hired. We had, I was like, wait, am I missing somebody? And they took all of the bubbles. And so now my business's own universe functioning with us four in there because they took a lot of my bubbles. And now I get to have the bubbles of like my favorite bubbles to have of like showing up, teaching, being me, channeling, helping, right? So you can, if you're in a dynamic with your family, okay, like I want you to think, here's your homework for this one. I'll give you your homework for this one right away. I want you to think in your life, a dynamic you have, whether it's with your partner, whether it's with your kids, whether it's with your friends, whether it's in your business, whether it's at work. Think of a dynamic where you're in some kind of personal relationships, whatever that relationship is. It could be romantic, platonic, work, whatever. And I want you to think about, what are you so tired of doing and other people not doing? What are you so tired of doing in these relationships? And you can even put some in the chat if you want. If you want, you don't have to. That other people are not doing. And you just so wish they would like pick up that slack. And so it's almost like then you end up doing it more, and we end up doing it more and more and more because someone else isn't doing it, right? And then so then we don't let them do it even more. And so where can we start to give some of our marbles away? And now the reprogramming of the brain comes in with this, and we'll go into that part of the homework in a second. But where can we start to give some of those marbles away? Okay, now I saw someone say inner work. So maybe you're tired of your partner or whoever not doing the inner work or the shadow work. This doesn't mean that you have to stop doing all your inner work. This means you have to stop making it mean something, or stop putting an emphasis on it, or stop making it mean that it's going to okay, how do I explain this? You know how we think like, oh, this car is going to validate me, or this house is going to validate me. We can do that with spiritual work too. I did it with spiritual work for a long time. Like, oh my God, if I do this thing, then I feel valuable. I feel more valuable, right? And if we can disconnect feeling valuable from like the inner work, that will also help. I was one, so we're getting neutral about it. I was insanely against plant medicine. Like, I'm just not a plant medicine girly. Like, I have so many source reasons and facts of why it's actually like not helping and all these things. And Justin likes to go and do plant medicine ceremonies in Costa Rica with like a men's group. And I obviously wouldn't stop him or tell him not to go. But internally, I would be like, oh my God, this is so fucking annoying. Like, I would literally get so annoyed about it. And so then I go, wait a minute. Me being annoyed and me being so against it is just gonna make him want to do it more. Just like how in a family of people who are so against drugs or so against alcohol, it's just gonna make that one kid who's holding those marbles do it more. It's just gonna make him do it more. So how many times has someone told you not to do something, then you just want to do it even more? Like we all do it, right? So what I started doing is I started neutralizing. I started going, why is this the best fucking thing ever? So maybe even going, why is it the best thing ever that my partner doesn't want to do inner work? How is it helping the relationship? How is it helping me? Why is it the best thing ever that Justin goes and does ayahuasca? And I had to get neutral about it and neutral about it. And now I'm not so one way about it that he has to be the complete other way. Now it's more of just a neutral kind of thing. It's like the picking sides in politics. It's like you pick one side, you're so extreme. Now someone else has to match the energy on the other side and be so extreme. And so you really saw this. People used to be more like this. You really saw this a few years ago, right? Where it started getting real extreme. The more people get extreme on the one side, the more people have to get extreme on the other side. If everyone could just see the balance in both and the balance in all of it, then we wouldn't even have problems. We wouldn't even be fighting. Everyone would just be like, okay, I can see that. We'd be neutral. We could actually get some shit, done. So anytime you're so one way, someone else, whether it's around you or somewhere else in the world, has to be so another way to balance you out. So if we can get balanced on our own, then other people don't have to be so extreme around us, right? Or we can get people to take on more of that that energy that we desire, right? Like if you're tired of cooking every night, I saw one about cooking every night, then we work through the belief system. Here's your other homework with the neuroscience part, okay? So you're going to work with the belief system of, why do I feel like I have to cook every night? Why do I feel like I have to blah, blah, blah? What inside of me is like telling me I have to do this? Do I find worth from it? Do I find maybe value from it? Do I feel like that's the only reason people are with me? Do I feel like that's the only thing I bring to the table? Am I disconnected from my actual soul, like attributes and qualities that just me being me existing is good enough, right? And we'll get into that tomorrow of like some self-image stuff. But I want to see it into like, why do I feel like I have to do this? And then you're going to reprogram the opposite of whatever that is. So if I feel like I have to do that because I am not valuable unless I do these things, I want to then start to reprogram, I am valuable just by being Allie, okay? And then what you're gonna do is you're going to make a note in the note section of your phone, and you're gonna call it whatever you're reprogramming, but for an example, why I am valuable, Allie, just being Allie. Now I'm gonna train my brain to prove it to myself, okay? So how I do that is, oh my gosh, well, I smiled at the girl at the coffee shop and she smiled back. I just like made her smile. Little micro moments. Oh, well, if I can just realize that my soul being here on earth, it is a fucking miracle you're here on earth. Like, do you know how many fucking souls? First of all, you know how many souls are up there fighting to get in? You won the lottery. You won it. Your soul made it here. And so even just your soul being on earth is adding immense value to the planet. So connecting to that, connecting to like, oh, I have a really like fun aura about me, connecting, and I bring the laughter into any room I go into, and proving it to yourself, and not just general examples, like that was even too general, going, oh, I just bring laughter to a room. No, too general. Last Wednesday, I walked into this room and I felt like this energy, or I said this thing, and it just brought light to everybody. Very specific micro moments. Okay? So homework is, because why, real quick, why we do the micro moments is because that is now proving to ourselves, that's connecting our heart brain, it's connecting our emotions, we're proving it to ourselves to be true. We emotionally shift, our neural pathways start to get rebuilt, we start to rebuild new neural pathways. Now we're starting to feel valuable, and we're not without having to cook, right? This is just an example, this is for anything. Now we're starting to feel valuable without having to cook. Now we can take the action of not cooking and feel fucking fine about it. Because we physically stopped doing it, because we mentally, emotionally stopped doing it, now someone's going to pick up those pieces, those bubbles that you just you just gave them to. And this is how we can like literally create whatever we desire to create around us.